of Hexmas, an advent calendar of extreme black and death metal, Godflesh.
Hey all, welcome to Circle of Tone, and today, Godflesh. Here we go, the continuation of Hexmas, and it's the 9th day, or is it the 8th day? It's a day of Hexmas, and I've been plagued with issues. My internet's gone down for Christmas. Isn't that wonderful? Kill me. So let's get straight to the music. We'll go into the gear. This one is very specific. I've pretty much nailed all of the gear apart from the guitar. So we have a repeater Fender, and let's get to it. Godflesh, the industrial revolution begins. Circle of Tone. And we're back. So that was my take on Godflesh. Very strange band to cover, because if you listen to Street Cleaner, the first album that they came out, if you don't know about Godflesh, they were one of the early industrial noise bands. They did get very melodic, and they did sometimes get some, crushing rhythms in there. That's what I tended to go at, because I'm not the most experienced of the noise aspect. I don't pretend to be. So I try to do Godflesh when they're in the groove. And I think I pulled it off. What's interesting is that on Godflesh's debut album, you can barely hear the guitars. It's a weird thing. There's just noise, and the drum machine is kind of too loud, and the bass is like really crazy and drowning out the... So for once, the chain, let's talk about the chain. Let's talk about why that is. One, he used a Japanese Fender Strat with a very specific one rare one with a lock-in system, tremolo system. So that's why I use this as Super Strat. And if you can see, I took it to a luthier and paid $500 to get this one fixed, because when you down tune on a floating bridge, it's just going to go all over the place, and the strings, then you got to. It's a long story because you have all spring system and tension gauges and all sorts of stuff. So I just put a comb behind it. So then I tried to do a dive bomb, and I remembered, hold on, I got a comb behind my bridge. Very technical stuff, but it's a Super Strat. It's got the humbucker because he had a humbucker, a ceramic humbucker, and so I used a ceramic humbucker. So it's all the same as his, bolt-on neck, and ceramic humbucker. So it wasn't a million miles away. This is a Super Strat. His was a Strat, but with a humbucker in the bridge. And what else did he have? It's pretty good today. I had this filthy bitch again, the HM2. He used that. He didn't use it like the buzzsaw style, with everything on 10, or mostly on 10. He used it quite subtle. The bass, it's got low and high contour, but they're basically bass and treble. And he had the bass and treble facing each other. So the bass was on 7.5 and the treble was on 2.5. And then he cranked the level and the distortion to taste. So that's what I did. I just completely recreated his setup, with the exception, I don't know what they were doing when they mic'd up that first album, and I had a feeling that mistakes were made. They were a young band, not a lot of money behind them, and they used the JCM800, and he said specifically an old one, because he knows the difference between the old JCM800s and the new ones. So the early 80s JCM800s are the holy grail, and that's what the COT100 is loosely based on. Mine has a few more options on it, like that's what I used, a send and return, and it's got an extra knob for sculpting bass for lower tune guys and for people who want that wall of sound. So mine had more, because I'm dying of cold. Excuse me. It's been tough. No internet. I'm dying. And hey, let's do 12 videos in a row. Life. But I'm still doing it. Still got a smile on my face. I'm enjoying it. So yeah, the difference between mine and the album is obvious. Yeah, you could hear mine. So this really is a reimagining of Godflesh, of what would happen if they had somebody who could actually capture the guitar and capture the bass and capture the drums and give them a little bit of space. And they must have, I don't think they were, who am I to say really, because when it comes to noise and landscapes and the soundscapes, it's not my forte. And I did appreciate what they did, because they started something. Godflesh started, the drum machine that they used. I went into, let's keep talking about the gear. I actually downloaded samples of the exact drum machine that they used. So here's a little video of me trying to match the snare to the album. So check it out. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I am matching the kit that they used. I am using the same samples that they did for the drums. So for instance, I'm trying to find the snare. So I've got them mapped to my MIDI keyboard. So if I hit play, and I'll jam along with it. That's not it. Oh. That's off. That's it. So now I know that I've got the right snare drum. Now I can move on to the bass drum and the cymbals and all the rest of it, and I can try and build my own kit out of the same kit, the exact kit that they used. So like I say, circle of tone, we go underneath Nerd Valley. Melon! So that's it. So I actually played the drums with my fingers, and then snapped into a grid to make them more robotic, just like theirs. So that, you know, mine were a bit funky and out of, you know, sync and the rest of it. So, and that's it. I mean, the bass as well was huge. And here is what I know of the bass rig. And so I tried to mash that as well as I could, and I'm happy with the results. Not really ecstatic about this one because the album is produced so poorly, the first one, and maybe this is more reminiscent of their later work. You know, so it's the same gear and a different player, so that makes all the difference. Because with Godflesh, at the time when it came out, I was all about technical, tight thrash, and when I heard how sloppy Godflesh was, and the noise, I really like the drum machine aspect of it, but I was like, I could do better than this. And I actually tried a while. I did a project called Headhole, which I had a drum machine and I was doing guitars to it, but a little bit more technical. But I'm completely missing the point because they were just out there when it came to the aggression and the noise and the attack and the sonic, just keening, shrill, out of tune solos, and that's what it's all about for them. If this isn't me trying to be, you know, punch you in the face with my technique and aggression. This is them being all out noise and an assault on the senses. So I respect them for that. And I had to go. I tried to like close my eyes and go with it, and I had a lot of fun actually. It took me longer than I thought, probably because I didn't know how to do a drum machine properly. And I've managed to find an old program called Battery 3, which is a Native Instruments plugin, and then I downloaded all of their drum kit, the drum machine, into that, and then I was golden. So that's it. And there's also more to it. It's not just the Heavy Metal 2, it's not just the JCM800. They also use a digital and an analog delay on most of their tunes. So what I used was the Hardwire, because this has two modes, an analog and a digital mode. Basically, they did a short, slappy type of delay that acted as a widener for their song and for the rhythm. And then for the trippier parts, they'd put a chorus on there as well, and also a longer delay, so that it would give it that swirly type of thing. But, you know, it's so I set it all up. I started going for it, and after a while I was feeling it. It does put you in a bit of a trance, because I had mine on loop, and I kind of get what they're going for, you know. It's just one of those things where you put on the headphones, you immerse yourself in it, and then you just drift off and you know, wake up with a headache, because that's what it's all about. So yeah, so that's it, man. If you like this video, please subscribe. You know, it keeps my channel going. If you can't afford the new t-shirts that I have out, or the pedal, you know, the quad damage pedal I have, or you can't buy my music, the biggest favor you can do is just hit like, just hit subscribe, and that will make my day, make my Christmas. If you guys don't know, there's still time to enter. I'm going to extend it a little bit because the first video didn't get many views. Basically, I'm doing a video competition where I was fed up of professional and semi-professional serial solo entries to people's solo competitions. So the same faces would pop up, and they're absolutely ridiculous shredders, and they don't really follow the guys' channels. They just all enter these competitions constantly. So for the regular guys who like these channels, they don't have a chance. So for this, it's a mediocre guitarist competition. So I'm going for people's taste and tact, and they can shred if they want, you know. But if I like the actual, you know, the melodies they use, and if it's not just noise, and if it's not just, you know, tapping for the sake of it, that it'll get judged on its merits of the whole thing and not technical ability. So you can hardly play if you want, but you might be able to get like a really good hook, and that's what it's going to be all about. So you can enter that, and all the links are in the description for that. Please enter. You don't have to make a big deal of it. You can play it on a computer, record yourself on a cell phone. It's nothing to do with tone, nothing to do with quality, nothing to do with miking shit up. Just as long as you can hear the solo and I can see you play it, and that's all it is. So yeah, lots going on. So please, by all means, buy my t-shirt. Here's the back of the t-shirt. I think some of you might get a laugh out of this. Oh, I'm asking for those dislikes. So that's it. I've been Owen. You've been great. It's a Circle of Tone. Merry Hexmas, everyone. And I'll see you next time. Circle of Tone.